Hey guys, would like to say Happy New Year first because tomorrow will be the last day of 2022 and tonight is the last trading day of US stock market and then it will close for a few days and then be open. January 2nd is the holiday. That means next Monday is the holiday for New Year, and then U.S. stock market will reopen on January 3rd. That means next Tuesday. We've been through a lot in 2022. We have the COVID-19 Omicron outbreak, right? Outbreak in America first, and then in Europe, UK, and then in Hong Kong, Japan, nearly all over the world. And then there is Ukraine-Russia war, and then there is the inflation, and then the market crashed, and then is China's zero COVID-19 policy sitting up of the city, and then now is reopening, right? So it's shocking the whole world. So we've been through a lot in 2022, and then tomorrow will be the last day of 2022. We hope everyone then be safely past this year, and then we hope that the market will have a bulk market, right? Have a bulk market in 2023, right? So Happy New Year to all of you first. And today actually is not a lot of news, right? Because I think a lot of fund managers have been in a vacation already, and I saw the news that President Biden been go for a holiday because of too cold now in America, right? So today we will talk about just briefly in Intuitive Surgical, this stock, right? A lot of people have this stock because it's been had quite rally in 2021, and then 2022 then it's become dim, right? No lights, right? But actually then this stock is not very bad. But the point is because COVID-19 is still there, so not a lot of hospital will invest in the Da Vinci system, right? So actually in the past 9 months, the performance still okay. But in this quarter, that means just this quarter, the performance is not so good. But this is still a leading in the robot surgery. Then we need to know that, right? In this industry, right? So Intuitive Surgical, then we will talk about the performance, right? Briefly. So the stock price still shaking, right? Okay, our Faircon portfolio then 35% because yesterday we have a good move, right? I hope tonight will be also a good move for the US stock market as well. Just for the welcome, and then we send 2022 away, and then we welcome 2023, right? So for anything, then you just leave your message under the YouTube, or you directly email me by usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. Then this is our cover, right? Intuitive Surgical is still shaking on the stock price. That means it is bouncing back, but it's not standing very firm, right? That means shaking, going up, and then go down again, and then go up and go down again, right? So we hope there will be a new 2023 growth for this stock. Then we see Dow Jones yesterday, rise more than 300 points. Then I hope this rally still continued. Today is the last trading day of 2022. The same to Nasdaq, rise more than 2.6% yesterday night. So this is our Falcon 350,000 portfolio. Then unfortunately, we can only do is 35%, right? So you can see that very clearly in 2020, our portfolio been raised at 55%, and 1 year before minus 14, and then in this year minus 29%. We still have a 35%. We hope there will be a rally year for our portfolio in 2023, right? Hope all the best to all of you, and thank you for all your support in advance first, then I mean it, right? Thank you for all your support. I know that the the number of wheels is very small, just 100 something, then I'm thinking about how to enhance it, right? Because the US market is very big. So I'm thinking on it, right? We hope we will be a fresh improvement in 2023. And thank you for all your support in advance in 2022. So this is the 10 years US Treasury yield. You can see that 1 week before is 3.691, and then now increased a little bit, 3.826%. We go for some headlines first, right? We just talked about China is going to totally reopen for COVID-19, and all the citizens are now actually is setting off to go to all the other countries, and the global health officials are quite worried about the data is not transparent on COVID-19. Then they're just afraid that this will cause another outbreak to their countries like 3 years before, right? So a lot of health officials from different countries, no matter it's in America and then in Europe or in Japan or even in France or UK, then they are worrying for the outbreak to come again like 2020, and then they are setting up some rules to do the PCR testing on all the passengers arriving from China or even from Macau or from Hong Kong. And they are considering if there is, because it is not very easy and it's quite disturbing, then if you do all the PCR on all the passengers that arriving America from China, Hong Kong, or Macau. So the professional is considering, okay, because they have to use the toilet for a long flight, from China to America, Hong Kong, Macau, there will be a long flight. They have to use the toilet, right? They have to use the toilet, they have to drink water. And then they're thinking, okay, if we just test on the wastewater, so they can decide immediately, if any passengers on that plane arriving has COVID-19 or not, right? This is a very smart thing, right? Because it's quite time consuming, right? Because if all the passengers, say 200 passengers, arriving in the same plane, in the same aircraft in America, it may take half day to finish all the PCR testing. It's waste time, or you have to impose a lot of efforts. So they are thinking on this, if this will solve the problem and make this more easier. So we test the wastewater, positive, then there must be COVID-19 carrier in the plane, and then they can do, especially on the passengers, right? But if no wastewater, then maybe that's okay. Then I appreciate that. Then they can take more research on that, but need to be quick. There's good news from the let me see, from the expert is saying that the risks of a dangerous new COVID variant in China is quite low. That means there is serious disease, serious symptoms, but the health professional said that the new COVID variant in China, the chance is quite low. It's not zero, but quite low. That is good news to us. Okay, then we talk about the ISRG. I always call ISRG Intuitive Surgical. So you can see the stock price chart, right? It's been dropped quite a lot. You can see that it dropped from 369 and then to, lower than 200, 180. That means it dropped nearly half. on the share price. And then it has a strong rebound, right? Then from 180, then rebounded $80 to 267 just in this few week, right? But we can see that the PE ratio is 70. So nowadays it's not easy for you to stand for a PE ratio of more than 40, right? We know that. So we need to be quite careful on that. We take a look on this, then we can see that we know that the revenue is divided into three areas: buying the instrument, and of course for surgical, and accessories from ISRG is first, and then is the Da Vinci system, and then is other healthcare technologies services, right? We can see that for the instrument and accessory, quite okay, increased it. You see the red lines. They increased it quite a lot from 1 year before, right? This performance is for July, August, and September of this year. From 1 year before, it increased a lot, right? But if we counted from 3 months before, then it's a little bit backward, right, decreasing. And only one area that is increased is for the Da Vinci system, right? Da Vinci system, 375 million US dollar increased to 425 million US dollar, right, from June quarter to September quarter, and it also increased a little bit from 1 year before, right? Da Vinci system means you have to do some special surgery for the heart, or for some that is quite delicate surgery, so you need the help of the robots. So we talk about the net income, that means the profit, also increased from 1 quarter before to now. But if you count from 1 year before, it's decreasing and decreased a lot. From 387 billion US dollar net income decreased to 324 US dollar per 324 million US dollar. And then even from 1 quarter before, not increased a lot, just few percent, right? If you want the Da Vinci system to have a good sales, then you have to have the investment from the hospital, all right? Investment from the hospital. You can see that for if we make it wider, we examine past 9 months, that means from the January to September, you can see that the total revenue is increasing, right? Is increasing 4.1 billion to 4.567 billion US dollar, about 8%. But you can see that for the gross profit increased at just few percent, right? From 28.9 billion US dollar just to 30.85 billion US dollar, increased at just very little bit. And then you can see that the cost of revenue increased a lot, and the total operating expense also increased a lot, increased quite a lot, like 20% on the operating expense. So you can see why the net income is decreased from 1.3 billion US dollar to only 0.99, less than 1 billion US dollar for 9 months, because the operating expense eat up the profit, right? We know that all the staff need a lot of salary pay increment. The inflation, right? Transportation, and then the salary, everything is increased. But you cannot increase the instrument, accessory, and Da Vinci system prices a lot, because they are just recovering, the hospital recovering from the COVID-19, right? The market is still weak. And we can see that for the 3 months, see the bottom part of the screen, for adjusted income from operation, right? You can see that compared to 1 quarter before, decreasing 554 million US dollar, right? 1 quarter before 531, the increment is just 3%, right? And then if from 1 year before, decreasing 570 million decreases to 554 million US dollar. And then if we count for 9 months, very obvious, right? Very obvious. 1.7 billion US dollar decreased to 1.6 billion US dollar. So I think the rebounds of the stock price finished already. And this is very obvious. Then the spelling of the revenue is wrong. She missed a E in between. Let's look at the gray line. Then you can see the operating margin is still at the very lowest part. You can see that 2000 for the past 10 years, the lowest is the 2020, about 24 something, and now it's only 27. And then 1 year before is 31.9. That means the Da Vinci system is still not selling very well because the market is still weak and is recovering from the COVID-19. And recently, Intuitive Surgical then will buy back, then ask for Citibank, right, to buy back 1 billion shares repurchase agreement. It's done already, but I don't think that it will help the share price a lot. So we have to consider that now the market is still weak, right? The rebound is finished already because that time of inflation period, then everything drops too much. So everything rebounds, but I think now it's finished. So if we need to see the ISRG has going back to the white track for the growth, then the whole economy, especially in America, has to be recovered, right? If now is still in the Fed is still increasing for the interest rate or not decreasing the rate, then not very good for ISRG. So we suggest that this is a very good stock because their technology is leading. But we have to wait for their PE down to, I think 40, 45 to maximum 50 is more suitable, right? Because 70 sure is too high, right? Now even the bounce back, I think the bounce back is too much, or they can see that they have a lot of orders on hand, I don't know, right? So the last quarter performance of ISRG will be launched, I think, in middle of January. So if there is any good news for the increment, then we will let you know immediately, right? So keep a close eye on our program. Okay, thank you for watching, and then please give us your like, comment, and share to your friends on our video. And thank you very much for all your support in the 2022. And then looking forward, then your support in 2023. And then hope all of you have a very happy new year of 2023. See you guys on 2023. Bye-bye.